Alright, welcome to Living Life Barefoot today. Today's video I will not be barefoot. I'm going to bring you along with me. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, when we first moved out here, we got really nice landscaping put in, and anybody that has landscaping that's full of rock knows it's impossible to keep all the weeds out of it. So every year I would go to the local hardware store, buy weed killer that has Roundup in it or whatever, and spray it in our landscaping and around all of our buildings, and just to try to eliminate mowing and weeding as much as possible. As we've gained knowledge on how toxic and insanely poisonous that stuff is to humans, Mal bought me a flamethrower so I can just burn the weeds instead of spraying poison all over our property. So I'll bring you along today, show you how fun that can be. It's kind of windy. Last year when I was doing it, there was one of the bushes had died on the side a little bit, and the wind had blown some of the flame over there, and the whole bush went up in flames. So we'll try to avoid that today, but just come along. You can see it's not that dangerous. It's easy to do. It's relatively inexpensive to do, and it's a perfect alternative to spraying poison all over your property, where we love to roam around barefoot and connect to the earth. So come along, I'll show you what it's all about. So I just have a 15-pound propane tank that I get refilled in town at the local hardware store. And then it comes with this hose that's probably about 8 feet long, and then this piece is the this little dial here controls how much propane comes out, so therefore how big the flame is. And then this whole part down here is where the flame comes out. Alright, so you can see that didn't take but just about 2 minutes, and I had 30-foot stretch of sidewalk completely burnt up. So I'll get in closer and show you what it looks like right now. Just keep in mind, after a few days and a good rain, all the black charred grass will be washed away. So maybe if I can remember in a few days, I'll do an update on one of our other videos on what it looks like. It does look charred and burnt right now, but it will look better in a couple days. And so I'm going to move on to this big area in the front here. It's right next to our driveway. It is, you can't see it real good, but it's just full of grass like this. One thing I do got to be careful of is like this bush here. I'll show you. This is what happened last year when I got a little too close to this bush. This whole side was engulfed in flames. I got a hose real quick and put it out. So I won't get too close to these bushes. They got a lot of real dry debris underneath them, and it'll take off. Stay back a little ways from the flowers and the trees, but out here kind of in the big more open areas, I'll use this torch. Keep in mind, if you have some sort of weed barrier underneath of your rock, need to be careful there too, and just keep an eye on it. There's a couple places where the weed barrier the rock is kind of washed away, so I gotta be careful that I don't catch the weed barrier on fire. All right, so I'll show you real quick here in the middle and along the edge where we've killed all the weeds. And one of the other claims from the company that manufactures this torch is that it gets hot enough that it also kills any of the weed seeds that may be in the rocks. So the flowers, you know, I got pretty close to them. They're unharmed, stayed far enough away from this bush. So that's the main use that I got that torch for, but it's also great for starting fires in your fire pit or starting like a big brush fire. It really helps just speed up that process. So I'm going to take you out to the pasture. I have a bunch of trees piled up in a big brush pile we need burnt. So I'll show you how quick and easy it is to light one of those piles. So if you've been following along with us, you know that we are doing some renovations to our pasture ground. We've added somewhere in the neighborhood of another acre into the pasture. Some of the parts of the pasture that are wooded, we are starting to cut some of the timber out, and we're going to pile it up and burn it. That way we have more grass pasture land for the sheep to eat on. So this is what we got right now. It's a huge pile of mostly little ash trees that I cut down from this big area over here, where you can see it was where all the leaves are from last year. So I'm gonna seed that with grass seed here in the next couple weeks, and I'm gonna separate this pasture off to keep the sheep off of it, so we can let this pasture get started growing real good for the spring. And then the plan is to have 3 separate paddocks in the pasture so we can rotate them through. But for today, I'll show you this torch and how easy it is to start a brush pile. I usually just get it started, and I put it in there. Step back, let it do its work. Here in a minute and a half, 2 minutes, it'll be a good fire going. So. If you notice the sheep right now, they're looking real mangy. So the breed of sheep that we have are called Katahdin. They're what's called a hair sheep. So they're similar to a dog. They shed their coat naturally, so we don't have to shear them or anything. So that's what they're doing right now. They're in the process of shedding their winter coat. Look who's waiting at the gate for me. She wants out here so bad she can't stand it. She likes to chase the sheep around and bark at them. Don't you? You bad girl. Bad girl. Can't come in here. Alright, thanks for hanging out with me today on Living Life Barefoot. Hey Ralph. Hope you got something out of today's video. I just encourage everybody to stop using all these toxic chemicals and poisons that are literally killing people. There was a court case out of California a few years ago where the company Monsanto was successfully sued for Roundup, and that's weed killer that I used to buy and spray around our house. In that court case, they paid out like $3 billion to the people because it was proven that it was causing cancer. So just do all you can, eliminate these toxic chemicals from our lives, and this is just one way to do it. So I hope you got something out of today's video. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. See you on the next video. Bushes are. I can't remember the name of them, but they bloom real early in the spring, and then throughout the summer they're just green. There's no blooms on them, and then they bloom again in the fall. Right here next to the gazebo, the pavilion area where we eat dinner every night, right next to this beautiful bush. I just wanted to share that with everyone before we left out.